Got us a care package coming in.
Wait, someone's
Look beyond the veil.
right there.
Aha.
Tossing axe.
Like a knight. Nice. All right. Do a quick 360 to see if anyone's near us. Nope, we're good.
I put up Shrugtor's tweet because he's got the juicy details, but I'll showcase what's happening. Essentially, the field of view for the passive has been reduced from 70 to 55 degrees, and the distance at which you can detect people has been reduced as well. We can see the differences on screen now. The damage from the tactical has been removed, which is pretty good, and you're also slowed by 15% whilst holding it. Time for you to dodge out of the tactical cone has been increased a little bit, so it will be placed down, and then you have 0.2 seconds extra to get out of the way, so that's pretty good. And finally, the cooldown for the ultimate has gone from 90 to 120 seconds. So that's it.
Like to sweat. Know some young like to sweat. Hit bang, take a little bang. Every day spilling no drain. She want the whole crew, shorty break. When the money talks, what is there to say? Blow away, watch it blow away.
Hey guys, it's Randomizer here. Today we're going to be talking about a legend in Apex Legends that got added all the way back in Season 10 called Seer. He is a recon character in the game, basically meaning that he, if he's part of a team, Seer, that he's pretty much like Bloodhound. He scouts out for enemies, and all that stuff. That's basically what a recon character is. They scout out for any threats that they could be going up against in the game, or in a game of Apex, basically. So, when Seer was first introduced into the game, he was initially very overpowered, almost to the point of being completely uncounterable, meaning that you could really not counter the guy. He was so goddamn strong. He was very strong in Apex for a little bit, and then pro players started getting mad, and then when they got mad, other players got mad, casuals were upset, and pretty much everybody at the beginning of Apex Season 10 Emergence wanted this guy to get nerfed, and people were just waiting and begging for Respawn to nerf him, and finally they did, and when he got his heavy-hitting nerf, it was a heavy-hitting nerf, and because of his nerf, his pick rate would then completely plummet down to the ground faster than a rock falling from a cliff at a high speed. Faster than that is what his pick rate, his pick rate would reach under 1% at one point. He really did not take his nerf well, and a lot of people just stopped using him and completely forgot about him after he got his changes that he got during the middle point of Season 10, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So, without further ado, let's uncover Seer's downfall. However, let's get all the minor details about him out of the way first really quick. So, his real in-game name is Obi Idolisim. He is a male, obviously a male legend in Apex. This is his home world. You're seeing it on the screen right now. He's 26 years old in Apex Legends terms. And here are each of his abilities showcased on the screen right now. And his abilities are actually where things start to get spicy with him. Meaning that, OP. So yes. And another thing to keep in mind is that Seer was leaked he was leaked as a possible legend to come into the game all the way back before Season 10 even started or was being discussed or even attempting to be leaked at the moment. I think back in season 7 or 8, or maybe even the middle of season 9 is when he started to get teased. And at the end of season 9, there was actually a little butterfly teaser, like 10 days before season 9 ended and season 10 started. There was a little butterfly teaser somewhere on Olympus, and they were teasing the introduction of Seer. And season 10 Emergence launched on August 3rd of 2021, and that's when Seer launched. And his abilities I just showcased, and I even said that his ultimate ability, the cooldown used to be shorter. It used to be 90 seconds. However, as I'm going to explain right now, his abilities back then aren't what they are nowadays.
Press your tactical as the new legend Octane to run fast. Whoa! Press your tactical button as the new legend Seer to scan your enemies for 8 seconds, blind them, deal 10 damage to them, cancel their healing, cancel their res, interrupt their abilities for 2 seconds, and display their health bar for 8 seconds.
So yes, I told y'all that his abilities were pretty wicked insane when he first launched. His tactical ability could literally be his ultimate ability, with his tactical doing nearly 10 things at once. 10 things! Like, what the hell was Respawn even thinking? And apparently his abilities on Seer's abilities on launch were completely different than what they had originally planned for him. As I basically it was determined that I think it was determined that his abilities were supposed to work differently than they do today. Like, even at launch, his ability, like his old abilities before the ones at launch, those were scrapped and never actually were added. Yeah, never actually were added to Seer. But anyways, moving on from that. So yes, and because because you could get his ultimate back when you used it very quickly, like within like 90 seconds, which is what Loba's ultimate, her cooldown on her ultimate used to be 90 seconds, but now it's a little bit slower. But with Seer, you could get, especially with ultimate accelerants, you could get his ultimate back within like 45 seconds, and it also scanned people. If you were in the ultimate for however long the ultimate was up, however long Seer's ultimate was up, if you were in it, you were completely and utterly visible and scanned, and that was pretty insane. But also, his passive, you could literally ADS with it even if you didn't have a gun equipped. Like, you could just have your fists equipped, and you could literally ADS with his passive. You could still do that to this day, but back when, once again, back on the first day of Season 10, you could literally ADS so far, zoom in so far with Seer's passive. You can move so quickly with Seer's passive. When you were ADSing with it without a gun, it was completely frickin' nuts and wild. And obviously, for Apex competitive integrity reasons, this was quite a problem, Seer being this strong. And even casuals started to hate him because how abused and exploitative his abilities could be. And, overall, how frickin' difficult to counter and insane and brainless and skillless his abilities were. Like a recon legend is supposed to just give you intel on what's going on in a match with the other players with your team. It shouldn't be a frickin' wall hack and damage ability like Seer's tactical ability was. His tactical ability dealt damage to you. While it didn't deal that much to you, that's still quite annoying, very annoying. And especially with the flash on the screen when he got scanned, it was really quite not very balanced at all, and needed some drastic changes to it immediately, or else more problems could happen in the future. And it was pretty obvious that Seer, his overpoweredness, Respawn intended for him to be overpowered for not very long. He was only, like, they only ever wanted to just get his pick rate high, and then they didn't really care about anything else but him just being used. And that kind of is kind of greedy, because that's kind of greedy, because on the first day of Season 10, you could buy, let me just buy the new $10 or $20 Seer pack, the Seer skin pack. Maybe that's why they made his abilities overpowered, so that a lot of people used him, so a lot of people could buy skins for him, making them more money, because that's all what EA frickin' cares about, because they work on Apex as well. But anyways, we really will never know why they truly made Seer's abilities that overpowered. But what we do know is that people began to dislike him, and he needed some drastic changes to him quick. Otherwise, as I just said, future problems could happen with a legend being that overpowered. Another thing I want to point out is that in the first week of Season 10's launch, Seer's pick rate skyrocketed to over 20%, which was over 8% more than Octane's pick rate, which currently right now he is the most picked legend in the game in general, and Seer challenged that by rising way above that in the beginning of Season 10. However, though, the nerf for Seer was already planned and coming. It was going to come, and it was going to be a huge nerf, is what people were the intel that people were able to gather about the future changes coming to Apex. And the most recent one, based on everybody's inferencing, it was going to be on Seer, and it was going to be a pretty big nerf. All people had to do was just wait. So as the days passed, those days turned into a week. Then half a week passed, and then add on a couple more days to that, and now it was only the final day until Seer got nerfed, or until the Seer nerf launched live on Apex, and the Seer nerf, oh yes, it would launch, and it would happen. Seer got nerfed on August 23rd of 2021, so that was exactly, it was 3 weeks after Season 10 launched, or 20 days. So he was pretty much, they pretty much just left him overpowered for 20 days, and then when they realized, a shit ton of people have played this character and bought some cosmetics for him. That's an easy, quick money grab, because 22% of the Apex Legends player base was playing Seer, so they just, he's so overpowered, and then they nerfed him, and they nerfed him hard. And his nerfs were that his detonation for his tactical was nerfed. They removed the flash from his tactical, and the 10 damage that you would get from his tactical as well. That was removed as well. And as I just mentioned, the flash effect. And the detonation time was also elongated. For example, when you hit Q and when the tactical went, it would actually take a longer... There was actually a longer delay time before the enemies were actually scanned. And then his passive got a pretty huge nerf. There were a lot of changes done to his passive too. For example, when ADSing with the passive, you were now instead, like, you were able to, like, originally you were able to walk at his normal speed when ADSing with the passive. When you were walking at his, you were able to walk at his normal speed, if not really fast. But now you were actually slowed down if you didn't have a weapon equipped and you just ADS'd with his passive. You would actually, your speed would slow down. And also the aiming, the ADSing with this passive, you couldn't zoom as far with it. The range was, the range for his passive and tactical were reduced by 15 meters, the range for it. So you had less range with it. And finally, his ultimate ability, called Exhibit, the cooldown to it was increased from 90 seconds to 120 seconds, or aka 1 minute 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So it was not a lot. That was still a pretty quick cooldown, so it was not a lot of time overall, but still, it was still increased by 30 seconds. It was still a pretty big nerf to his ultimate, even though nothing really changed with it. But I think it was an alright change to his ultimate. At least they didn't change, like, the fundamentals of it. However, his pick rate was already starting to slightly decline, even before this huge-ass nerf dropped on him. His pick rate was starting to decline. It was already starting to decline slightly. However, soon enough, the pick rate of Seer would absolutely, catastrophically crash into the ground. However, the start of his pick rate dropping rapidly started within, like, only a couple days after he got nerfed. 4 days after Seer got nerfed, his pick rate was already down to under 10%. So that's 9.5%. And it was sadly only going to go lower. And by the time that the September 14th, 2021 patch for Apex rolled around, which added a completely new collection event, a new town takeover and battle royale, a new LTM for arenas, and a pretty spicy, at the time, Rampart buff. That led Seer's pick rate to roughly going down to now 5. So his pick rate was now roughly down to 5% now, and it was only going to get worse from there. And when Season 11 of Apex Legends dropped, also known as Escape, Seer's pick rate was now almost 2%. It was 2.1% roughly by the time Season 11 dropped. 20% less than what Seer's original pick rate used to be. Which is very incredible, in my opinion, and most people's opinions on him. And not even the small buff, sadly, that he got during the Raiders collection event, not even this small buff would save him from plummeting further downwards into a hole where he could possibly really not come back up from. So yeah, he's pretty much gone past the point of no return. He can't get any better anymore, because that huge nerf that he got back in August was just too much, and he really couldn't be salvaged from it. His pick rate was well under 2% at this time. And currently, as of the making of this video, Season 12 is now in effect in Apex Legends, and Seer is still he's now one of the least picked legends in the entire game currently right now, which is very ironic from when he was originally introduced into the game back in the beginning of Season 10. And yes, that's saying a lot, because his pick rate back then was very high, but nowadays it is still it's gotten a tiny bit better, like it's almost 2%, but it's still under a 2% pick rate in Season 12. that Seer's pick rate. It's still under a 2% as of the making of this video. So yes, overall, that was the fairly tragic story of Seer. He was once a top dog in Apex Legends for a little bit, and then after one big-ass nerf, he fell all the way to the bottom, and now, ironically, is in, or actually maybe unironically, however you want to look at it, he ended up in the opposite place from where he originally started out from. And I think it's all because of that one big nerf he got. It removed a lot of fundamental changes from his kit, and that made a huge difference in gameplay, like in gameplay practice with him. And honestly, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if they kept his original overpowered abilities today, then the meta would be completely totally different, and Apex nowadays would probably have a completely different outcome if they never nerfed Seer, but thankfully they did, because his abilities were too brainless and they shook up the meta a little bit too much. So I'm glad to see that Seer is now in a place where he can't really be that strong anymore. Should I think they do much anything else? Do I think they need to do anything else to Seer to make him better or worse? Honestly, no. Just leave him where he is, to be honest with you. He really doesn't need to be that strong. As long, like, for the most part, he's kind of a decent recon character. I mean, hell, he has the passive where he could scan survey beacons, so that's really what you need in a recon character. And he's still pretty good in Apex Legends. If you want, you could play him. I mean, I think honestly, Respawn with Apex Legends, they've been recently been making certain characters like, I think, Octane, Watson, and Valkyrie free to play, meaning you don't have to spend any currency to unlock them. I think that's what they should do to Seer, because of all the nerfs they gave to him, and I think that'd make him slightly better. Maybe raise his pick rate a little bit up. Maybe I think he should be right now in 15th place out of 20 legends in the game right now. I think that'd be a perfect spot for him. Not too overpowered like he once was back at the beginning of Season 10 of Apex, but also not too underpowered at all. And I think they should make his kit maybe slightly more fun to play. But hey, maybe he should get an heirloom, and then they should give him a buff where he's slightly more fun to play. Hey, they should probably do that in the future. I don't know. His pick rate could rise up a bit if they do that. But anyways, so yes, that was the end. This is going to be the end of this documentary video that I did on Seer. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like on this video to show some love and support, and to show that I should keep going with my documentary videos, and that you want to see more from me. But anyways, hopefully y'all enjoyed. As I just said, subscribe for more Apex Legends and documentary content. I'll definitely be releasing some more documentary videos in the future, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, deuces, y'all. Good night. I'm out for the night. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. As I said once again, peace out.